Welcome to Old Guy Talks to Me, a podcast dedicated to helping guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love. Ladies, if you want to know what your guy is thinking, this podcast is for women too. Each week, a special guest helps you create that life you've imagined. We talk anti-aging medicine, personal growth, relationships and hot sex. Yeah, you hear me, getting laid more frequently, other guy vices, and topics that many don't want to talk about but need to. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to be old. Don't want to miss anything? Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review this podcast. And be sure to go to www.thestandard.academy/magazine and grab a free copy of our new digital magazine, The Standard Academy, where we talk about erogenous zones, growing hair back, and other things that will help you create that kick-ass life. Now get ready to listen up and share with friends.
This is Horace, the official old guy at oldguytalkstome.com podcast dedicated to helping guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love. And right now we're going to be talking about, creating lives for those that they love, because sometimes you got to be there and be a supportive spouse, boyfriend, live-in. Hopefully you're not just kind of like hanging around, not doing anything, eating groceries at the house. You're contributing to what's going on at home. But today I have the honor of having Hilary DeCesare. She's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, and she's an award-winning entrepreneur featured on the reality show Secret Millionaire. And she helps women turn their typical life transitions into transformations. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. And she's been coaching women in her Silicon Valley success methods for decades. And she has a book which was revised in January 2023, which is called Relaunch, Spark Your Heart to Ignite Your Life. And she has a proprietary 3HQ method of combining business acumen and neuro coaching. And that's a trademark. There's a little TM on that 3HQ TM. So don't anybody try to steal it, because I feel like Hilary probably has some really good lawyers. She talks about, shedding patterns and limiting beliefs to reveal your authentic, satisfying self-image that leads to success at home, at work, and in relationships. Well, welcome to the program, Hilary.
Horace, it's so great to be here. And for every guy out there, this is for you. Because when you realize what we were talking about, 3HQ, and you think of the H's, it's getting out of your head and tapping that heart center that gives you your purpose, your why, so that you can actually elevate yourself to the third H, which is higher self, the best version of you. And when you can do that, then your relationships at work, your relationships with whomever is at home starts to also elevate. So this is really something that should not be just, defined for women. It really is. I have to say, yes, I do group courses with women, but one-on-one coaching, I do a lot. I've been doing this for over 20 years with men and women.
Okay. So let me, before we get into your coaching program and all that, I want to ask you a few things about Hilary. Gosh, I can't think of anything. I'm not even going to say what crossed my mind. So how, you mentioned, you talk about the importance of your mother, how she was important to your success. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you mentioned that I wrote a book. I wrote a book that came out last June 2022, and it primarily had a lot to do with the lessons that we learn in really by osmosis, right? By being around the lessons we learn from our parents. And although I really highlighted many of them with my mom, because she ended up passing because of stage 4 colon cancer, way too early. The women in our lives live into their early hundreds, every single one of the women. and my mom, didn't. And it was really interesting, Oris, because the book comes out, and then right when I'm launching the book was going to launch on June 8th. On June 6th, my dad passed. So it's really this bookend, right? I got the beginning
Mm-hmm.
with my mom, I got the ending with my dad. And when you think about a relaunch, and it was Relaunch is the book, Spark Your Heart to Ignite Your Life. I can't tell you how many people right now are facing relaunches within themselves, relaunches of what's next for me. Where do I go from here? And when you really think about spark your heart to ignite your life, it's also spark your passion to ignite your purpose. And we don't have that. You can be a super successful businessman, businesswoman, and you reach a point where things are not falling in place. It's not clicking. The piece of
Mm-hmm.
the puzzle that you're looking for to, if I just got this deal, or if I just grew my business to that next level of success, I'll be happy. And what we're finding, especially after the pandemic and the changes that have occurred in each and every one of us globally, global relaunches are happening, is that we're all self-evaluating and
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from a different perspective of what does my life look like as I get to define it now, as I get to write my next chapter. And for some, it's very scary. It's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Hell if I know what I really want. What am I doing? I'm spinning, but I'm not going anywhere. And so the book and my mom's journey, a lot of it has a lot of anecdotes in there. It has a lot of business examples of when people are trying to relaunch themselves into that next version of themselves. And so much of what my mom taught me was you morph as you go through your life. And
Mm-hmm.
as you change, people don't have midlife crises. They have a midlife identity crisis. That's the identity crisis that so many people are facing right now, on where they thought they would be at this time doesn't match where they are.
Sure.
And what we thought would make us happy, we
Mm-hmm.
now have, the house or the family or the items, but I'm not happy. And I hit a wall, and I went through that. I had some of that you mentioned. I was on the show Secret Millionaire. I had incredible success in the Silicon Valley and launching other companies and coaching people. And I felt like I was tuning out of it all, that I wasn't able to tune into what I really was thinking my life should be like at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. So, being in Silicon Valley, and what the what were the challenges that you faced when you were working in there?
Yeah, so I was, it was one of those worlds where I was selling a product that was primarily, I was surrounded by men. I was selling manufacturing into Fortune 500 companies in the Valley, and going in there, with lack of information, I would stay up, into the wee hours of the morning trying to just understand what financials and manufacturing they needed from an Oracle system. And it was challenging. I mean, I was in the boys club, but only because I was inserting myself as much as I could. And Sheryl Sandberg did a really interesting job when she wrote the book Lean In. And if you can
Mm-hmm.
believe that, that was 10 years ago. And I was leaning in. I was like, hey, if there's an opportunity for a promotion, I want to be considered for it. Like I should be considered. But what happened is that I pushed so hard. I was considered, and I got those opportunities. I got the jobs, I got the promotions, but it wasn't what I ultimately wanted. And that's really the problem. Sometimes we go for things because we think we have to. And then we get them and we realize what was that? Well, what it was it's all part of the process. And when you think about silver linings, and my podcast before it was, second season rebrand and all that, was called the Silver Lined Relaunch, discussing men and women going through life-changing relaunches, life-changing transitions, and how it transformed them. And the question I always would ask is, either on camera or off, I would say, if you could go back and change what happened to you, those, really like just flat on your back moments that brought you to your knees, would you go back and change it? And, not one, and I've now done, I think, 160 interviews, not one has ever said, yes, I'd go back, I'd want to rewrite history. Everyone has evolved through the relaunches. And so I think that, where I'm now helping people is to understand that today can be, it is your time for a relaunch, and it can be the most impactful relaunch of your life.
Yeah. One of the things that I've talked about in the past is that most people cannot clearly articulate what they want. They don't have clarity on it, and they make some sort of like vague generalization, and it's not a clear articulation. And if they can't clearly articulate what they want to themselves, they can certainly can't do it to anyone. And that's true in relationships or in interpersonal relationships or in business, is the ability to articulate what you want, and also to have a clear idea of what you want, based on not just because, well, I think I should be doing that. Do you really want to do it? I think we all got, the list of things that, like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Well, dude, if you really wanted to do that, it would have been done. It wouldn't be on your to-do list for 10 years. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, you don't really want to do that. There's no driving force. There's no like, God, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. And so I think people can't clearly articulate what they want quite often. That's where the problem starts.
I completely agree with you. And where I think we really are having problems is that sometimes getting clear means you have to slow down. You have to think about it. And it's in those moments that reality hits you. And it's sometimes, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling underwhelmed, right? Is this my life? Like, really? I've worked with people that, and I'll give you a great example, a gentleman that had sold his business for $250 million. And one of the venture capital firms reached out to me and said, he's lost, and we need him to stay in the capacity that he's in because the merger took place. And so I started working with him and soon realized that, he had always gone for the vision of, this is what I want to do. I want to create a business and I want to sell it for more than a couple $100 million. Boom. That's what I want to do. Well, all of a sudden he reached it. He reached the goal, and he's, mid 40s, and he's like, my marriage is suffering. My kids don't talk to me. I'm not happy with my life. And in working together, we went through a process that allowed him to tune back in. Remember, I talked about the tune out. We tune out when we don't understand something, right? Why do you not do something? It's when it's when you don't understand how to do it, or how, we have perfectionism. Like, how do I do this right? Like, how do I create clarity around what I want? I don't know what I want. Help me. What questions should I be asking? And it's all valid because we're not ever taught to really do this. We're taught to keep putting the prize out there, keep doing your goals, keep like on your path. But for some, you need a shakeup. You need that, hey, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to be doing something different, or maybe I'm like at the end of my path right now where it's time to have a new relaunch going into something creative, new, that lights you up. And so for this gentleman, what we did was we really got to a process of tuning in. And the tune in process is, I say it's time to tune in, everyone. And so, Oris, can I take you through the tune in process? It's a 4-step process. It doesn't take long, but
Sure.
it really solidifies what it means to tune in and not tune out anymore. So, step 1, I want you to think about a challenge that you have right now going on in your business, in your personal life. What's happening to you right now that you're like, I'd like to have a different outcome. Is there anything that you can pinpoint and share with us?
Oh boy, I didn't realize I was going to be interviewed
Oh
here.
yeah, we're doing this.
Hillary,
Horace, we're going there.
We're
No
going
holds
there.
back. Like, come on.
I think I've just launched my coaching business, and
Yep.
it's been a challenge to get that going. So yeah, so I think that's probably been
Okay,
the
so
big-
fantastic.
biggest-
I want
yeah.
you to think about that. You're launching your coaching business. It's not going the way you want it so far. You want to, take it and take it into different markets, take it into having a lot more success. So let's just focus in on that. Well, Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem at the level it was created. You can't solve a problem at the level it was created. And where I have really identified what he meant by that is that you can't have energy of launching my coaching business. It's not where I'd like it to be today. That level is a lower energy level than where you want to take your business. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So right now, the way to change your energy, change the level so that we can get to what do you really need to do to make your business this power source for you, is that we tune in to a song that lights you up, a song that when you hear it, or you get fired up. You can't be at a lower level energy level when you're hearing it. Is there a song that you just, when you hear it, you love it, it just fires you up? What would that song be?
It's probably a few come to mind, but the one that really sticks out is Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay, Welcome to the Jungle. That's a great song. Okay, so now I want you to literally close your eyes. Think of the Welcome to the Jungle. Let it go through your body all the way down to your feet. I want you to move a little bit because we're changing your state. I see you're moving, your head's moving. And now that's step 2. Do you feel this song inside of you? Can you feel this? Okay, turn it up. Turn it up in your head. Turn it up. Welcome to the Jungle. I want you to really embrace the song because this is how we up level our energy. The song has an energy to it. And when we can absorb the energy and create it to be our own, we're up leveling ourselves. So I want you to open up your eyes as you're tuning in, as you continue to tune in. And the best part of this, you can do this at any moment throughout the day, whether you're doing an email, whether you're going on stage, whether you're negotiating a contract, you tune in to elevate yourself so that you are creating an energy field at a higher level than where you were. Step 3 is when you start to think about clarity and about what would that coaching business that you absolutely would love, you'd be so proud of, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is what I've always dreamed of. What would it really look like? Again, you're tuning into Welcome to the Jungle. You're tuning into that and asking yourself visually, what would it look like? All right. Okay. So what would that look like? Just give me a few different thoughts of what that would really be that would just be like, yes, this is where I'm going.
It would be about several clients.
Okay.
On a regular basis.
Okay. So several clients. I want you to, again, close your eyes. I want you to visualize several clients on your calendar. And here is where we bring neuroscience into this. I want you to, when I say click, open and close your eyes as quickly as you can, taking an internal picture of that image. We're going to do it 3 times. Click. Open, close your eyes. Click. Click. So you now have imprinted, because the colors, the sounds, the image is now in your long term, because what we've done is by setting an anchor to it, we've actually incorporated this into our visualization. So now you tune back into Welcome to the Jungle. And step 4 is, what is the one thing, as you're tuning back into welcome to the jungle, you're elevating yourself. What could you do right now to create momentum around that image that you have in your mind right now, that visualization? What could you do today to make that happen? One thing to create momentum. What would that be as step number 4?
Well, I already did it today. So,
okay, what was it?
But it was setting up a software that basically connects with people on LinkedIn.
Okay, fantastic. That's one thing, but you already did it. So I want you, again, you're at an elevated level of your energy, at your higher self, best version of you. What can you do in addition to that, setting up the software? What else could you do right now that you know would help with gaining more clients on your calendar?
Figure out whether I'm going to fire someone or not.
Okay, so you're tuning into that, but here's the magic of this, Oris. You tune into letting that person go.
Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, because again, you're at a higher level, which means you're operating at the future self, future version. And you say, what's coming to you when you think about, should I let this person go? What are the pros? What are the cons? How does this impact the business? Mm-hmm. Does it make sense for where I'm going to continue to have this person on staff? Yes or no? And once you do that today, let yourself have the answer. Keep tuning in, keep hearing that song, change your channel. Because when you can change your channel and elevate yourself, you're going to get the answers to the questions you're asking. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the tune-in process. And that is like a pocket tool that anybody can use at any time during their day. And you should. Your mindset, how you leverage it, is all muscle related. And so we need to start exercising our mindset to allow for what we're internally visualizing, to allow it to show up in the world of visible. So you got invisible thoughts going on. You've just elevated. So you've taken yourself, we talked 3HQ at the beginning, head, heart, higher self. This is the next wave of being able to get out of your head, which was step 1, which is the idea of, hey, what's challenging you? We got into the heart, the hey, this is what, I need to be able to do. We got into the higher self with tuning in, going to the next level. In step 3, we tied it to the heart and the emotion behind, this is what I want. Clarity, as you said. And then we're back to the head in the step 4 of understanding, okay, ask the question of what can you do to increase momentum today? What can you do as you're going on stage to make sure that you're resonating, your message is resonating with your audience? This is something you can do for challenges and also what you are aspiring to do. It's just the tune-in process is truly business and life-changing.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining Dr. Orist and his incredible guests. Like what you heard and learned? Then be sure to do 3 things. 1, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. 2, share this with someone who may need to hear it. 3, leave a review and rate this podcast. Opt in at www.thestandard.academy/magazine and get our free digital magazine with savings, articles, and deeper dives into cool controversy. Be the guy who takes action. Without action, you're not going to get the results you want. Thank you again, and make it a great day.